I'm making Tessie's chicken. Tessie's chicken because it was Tessie who cooked this amazing chicken when I was growing up. I didn't know where the recipe came from, and I do know that she marinated it in one of those commercial bottled dressings, convenience time, as it was back then. And actually, I'd all but forgotten about this chicken for years and years and years. One day, I remembered how it was. It was so tangy and delicious, at least that's how I remembered it. And it had this crispy, crispy coating. And I decided to try to recreate it, and, well, it worked. I love that. I love remembering something that I had when I was growing up, or maybe having something at a restaurant and just really working hard to try to recreate it. So 3 cloves of garlic is what I'm mincing right here. I need 2 for my marinade and 1 for my coating. So when I'm doing a garlic job like this, I get it all done at once. No sense in mincing all the garlic and then going back to mince more. And that's a good tip, by the way. So I would say this is what I'm gonna leave for later. I'll just put it over there and get this right here to begin the marinade. So 1/4 cup of olive oil and 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. Only when I tasted it the first time, I decided I wanted a little bit more tang, so I added another tablespoon of red wine vinegar. That's how I develop recipes. I just keep tasting until I get what I want. 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano and 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, one of my favorite ingredients. And just get this whisked together so that it's completely blended. Now, I say this all the time, and I have a reason for it. You can marinate this for at least an hour, but if you have 8 hours all day or overnight, that's even better. And the reason I always say that is because I want you to feel liberated. If you don't have all this time to marinate, I don't want you to think you can't make this recipe. You can. It just is a little bit tastier if you have a longer marinade. I have 1 chicken nicely cut up here, and you just want to mix the chicken in the marinade so it gets into all the nooks and crannies. If you want to do 2 chicken, which I often do, just double up on your marinade, double up on your breading on the outside, and you'll be good. This is a great picnic chicken too. Oh, because it's really good cold. All right. So I'll just take a second and blend this around, and then you just want to cover it. Actually, if you were just going to marinate it for a little bit under an hour, you could leave it out. It wouldn't be a problem if you just leave it at room temperature, because meat, when you start to cook it, is better if you've tempered it instead of having it be ice cold. But I'm going to have a chance to marinate this just a little longer. So just put some plastic wrap on it and get it into the fridge. All right. Now, we won't need the breading right away, but I'm gonna get it done. And that's the way I work especially when I'm making a weeknight dinner or something like that, is I get as much done as I can in advance, and then it's just a snap to pull everything together. So my clove of garlic goes right in here, and then I have some parsley. So with my nice sharp knife, I'm just gonna shave off until I have some of the leaves. And I'll save this. This is great for soup. Just keep it aside. And then just chop your parsley. But you don't want the pieces too big, because they're going to mix with the breadcrumbs and the cheeses. I discovered that those cheeses are what really make a difference. And I have both Parmesan and Romano cheeses. This is something I always talk to my parents about, because my dad, he used to love Romano cheese. He'd use that mostly. And I love Parmesan. I love them both. They both have different attributes. All right, right into our pan here, just to get everything ready, and 1 cup of breadcrumbs. And it's moments like this that I am grateful for my breadcrumb hoarding. I take old heels of bread, I dry them out, and then I make my own breadcrumbs. It's a very frugal way to live, and it's also great to have great breadcrumbs on hand. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and now to my cheeses, I want a good 1/4 cup of each. This is the Romano cheese. It's saltier, it's sharper. Big chunk went off in there, it's okay. So I want a 1/4 cup, and don't worry if it's a little bit more, it'll just be more delicious. And then I want a 1/4 cup of Parmesan. And this is a little bit sort of, a little more rounded in flavor, a little bit milder, but it's got, well, I don't need to tell you what Parmesan cheese tastes like. I think everybody knows what it tastes like. And maybe just an extra little bit of this. That's good. And then just mix it together. I'll just use my hands for that. They are clean. I am doing Tessie's chicken here. And I have marinated the chicken in a fresh marinade. She used a bottled dressing. That was her convenience tool. And I've made a breadcrumb mixture that has 2 kinds of cheeses, Romano cheese and Parmesan cheese, and some breadcrumbs, some garlic, some parsley, you know, standard deliciousness. I am just putting a little oil on some parchment paper. Another trick that they probably didn't have in Tessie's day, which she probably would have appreciated. I'm using parchment because that way I just fold the whole thing up, throw it out, and the cleaning job is much easier. If you don't have parchment, don't worry, it's fine. You can just clean a little harder. All right, so I am going to get my chicken and just lightly coat it in this breadcrumb mixture. So the chicken is marinated for about an hour, but if you have time, just do it longer. And it's as simple as just making sure that you get plenty of breadcrumbs all over everything, and then just put it skin side up. This is one of those dishes, I promise you, that when you make it for your family, they're gonna ask for it again. I know that I'll hear from you. And this probably is something that pretty much every time I make, I have to make 2 chickens, but I'm just showing you one here. And you cannot beat doing it in the oven. Is certainly a little bit easier and a little bit more healthy. All right, a couple more pieces here. And I think it's fun when you remember a dish that somebody made for you. It always reminds you of that person, Tessie, who was Scottish, as tiny could be, but packed an incredible personality, and is one of the nicest people I've ever met. And I think of her all the time. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to eat with this, I thought I wanted something crunchy and cold to go with this crispy breading. Just get it into the oven, 400 degrees, and it'll cook in about 45 to 50 minutes. Just let it go. Oh, does that smell good? 400 degrees, between 45 and 50 minutes, and you have this little tray of crispy deliciousness that I pretty much cannot wait to eat.